I guess it was, at TCU. And that gym was full of nurses and stuff like that. And I thought, well, how are they all going to get jobs?
What do they call it, silver tsunami? The baby boomers age into, retirement and things like that. They said there aren't going to be enough
I
people.
just wondered if the people getting into this continues to go down.
Yeah, I think the population is challenged for workforce in general. And today, because of COVID, so many employers have embraced work from home. And that's another challenge that we have. That offers more of a work-life balance, and for the generations coming up, we've had people take pay cuts.
I wonder if that will result in more calls, people being at home
yeah.
5% of the time than at the office.
It could.
Yeah.
It could.
Chief Shelley had something.
I was just going to speak to your point, Councilman, about the community colleges and the paramedic program. We're a preceptor site in Richland Hills for those students to come and ride out to get the rides. MedStar does this. They have dozens of students every day. But one of the things that I started doing about 5 years ago is every time we'd have a student sitting at the kitchen table, I'd go sit down with them and say, all right, what are your career goals? Well, it's only gotten worse over the last 5 years. Back then, about 60% of them were looking to get into allied health, physical therapy, nursing. I want to be a doctor. That number's up closer to 80% now. So these community colleges, they can't screen and only take students that want to go ride a MedStar ambulance or a fire ambulance. So what we're seeing is about 80% of paramedic students are using that as a stepping stone to other allied health jobs or to become a pediatric neurosurgeon someday. They want to be able to lay hands on people and work on people at 19 years old, so they go to EMT and paramedic school. So there's a class right now that graduates in May, and there are less than 10 in that class that are going to be into the workforce to be paramedics. And they've been in school for a year, and it's another year to get another group out. And that problem is systemically getting worse.
That's the same thing in my industry. I don't want to spend time here at the lower level. I want to be up here. Well, you got to do this for a few years first.
Years ago, there was subscriptions that cities had to buy down the cost for ambulance rides for members. Does that still exist?
No, sir, it doesn't currently. We'll probably look at something along those lines. So it'll be something like that. I'm familiar with that. It was sunsetting when I came.
We opted out at a particularly difficult budget year,
Yeah.
It was a big number, fairly big number, and we opted out. I didn't know if it was going to...
And I think that's what happened was, and to be perfectly honest with you, it was kind of a pain because there's probably a fair amount of math that actually needs to be done, and it should technically be city specific, and there's a lot of headache that goes into trying to make that work. We'd rather come up with something that sort of would work across the system and have that conversation. Probably by census population is how we look at it. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you all for
Thanks
your
for
time.
coming.
Okay, now we will move to item number 9, which is consider approval of request from Abigail Offenbaker, Communications Specialist for Castleberry School District, to install a temporary banner on the fence at the community center at the corner of Roberts Cutoff and Blackstone, advertising school enrollment. You get to speak.
You want to hang a sign, you got to stand up and speak.
Okay, well, good evening, council members, Mayor Ashton. My name is Abigail Offenbaker, Communications Specialist at Castleberry ISD. Basically, I have 2 signs that I'd like to hang on the corner at the community center on the fence. And I was told that since it's on the fence, I have to have your approval. So I believe you have the pictures there. So they advertise enrollment to the district, just again trying to get as many parents as possible to choose Castleberry ISD for their child's education.
So they're 4 foot high
By 8 feet wide, yes.
And how long are they going to be up?
Until the end of June, if that's permitted.
If the storm don't take them.
We do believe in taking them down though, because we don't want people to get too used to that brand, and so we do
they look good everywhere else they are, so I don't have an issue with them being on a fence.
Marvin, do you have any concerns?
They need to know there is a $35 permit fee if y'all want to do something with it.
Might as well waive that, $35, so.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, they have to vote on it
Oh,
first, I don't count.
I might have to sit down.
You can, I think you can sit down.
Okay, thank you for your consideration.
So you're waiving the fee?
I would recommend, I'd be fine with waiving the fee, if council's good with that.
Make a motion to approve the request by CISD and waive the fee associated with the temporary signs at the community center.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to grant the request and waive the permit fee. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Now, it's interesting that a communications specialist doesn't want to communicate.
I'm not used to having that opportunity, to be honest.
All right. So it's a growth,
That's a good one there.
I would like to kind of go out of order on this and go ahead and bring item number 15 up now. So,
Could we go on and do the one with the, because I've got Jacob here.
sure, we'll get Jacob out here first. So,
We're going to the sound system.
well, yeah, we'll go ahead and do item number 10, consider approval of City Council Chamber Sure Wireless Microphone System.
This is something we talked about back when we got the Rescue Act funds. We set aside $10,000 for that. So since then, it's gone elsewhere for the water system. But there's still some money in there. The problem is I'd rather not, since we're doing the water plant, take that all the way down. And on top of that, the price has increased from what we thought was about 10,000, 10 to 14. It's up to 26 now. But it's a wireless system, but I've got the brains here that knows all about it to tell you all about it.
All right, evening, everybody. So, I guess it's been about 2 years ago that we started this process, trying to figure out how we can get you all set up for streaming and recording and sound reinforcement within the room. Because the current system that's set up right now is not great, as far as I can tell. So I reached out to some vendors. This was the preferred vendor that we got a quote from. This is Delcom Group out of Carrollton. And they proposed the same wireless mic system that we have in the boardroom at Casper ISD. So if you're familiar at all, or if you've seen that before, it would be the same system that we have at Casper ISD. Yeah, to reinforce what Marvin was saying, it's a wireless system. So we would have the equivalent of like a wireless access point on the wall, and then all the wires underneath the desks would go away. And we would just have
wires under the desk? I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, I ran some of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
so
like
it would clean up all of the floor space. It would prevent y'all from having to have those cables coming down behind the chairs.
I didn't notice those either.
Well, yeah, so it would be 2 cables that would have to be run from your network closet. One would be for a wireless access point on the wall, and then the other one would connect a switch back to your network. So it's pretty minimal as far as installation goes. But yeah, if y'all have any specific questions, I can definitely answer those for you.
So how will the performance be different than what we have now?
So each one of you would have a mic at your station, and you would key it up when you like to speak. We have the capability to set it up so that somebody could have to approve those keyed up mics, so you can't just automatically start speaking for, planning and zoning or whatever else that you all do in these chambers. It would also give you the capability to do a digital vote. The screen on the little unit would say yay, yes, no, abstain, and you would have the option to vote digitally from the unit.
Does the school board vote digitally? No. And so you're saying to speak through the mic, then you have to hit a button and talk and hit it to turn it off?
And there are different ways you can set it up. They could all be on always if you choose to do that. But yeah, you have the capability to keep the mic on and off.
Well, this doesn't do nothing about the video.
It doesn't, but I can help y'all with that.
That's what keeps going out. I keep hearing the big one on.
Well, the biggest thing, I don't have a question, but just